idea of moisturizing your skin, this old school notion of moisturizing your skin by coating it with something, where does this come from? Now, yeah, you might create some kind of, you might get some relief if your skin is super duper dry and you put some oil or wax on top, but you're not going to create any changes. Good news is you're not going to spend a lot of money. Most moisturizers are pretty cheap. You only have to fork out about $10 or so to get most moisturizers. But the bad news is you're not going to do anything except cover your skin up with wax and oil, suffocate your skin, suppress your skin's chemistry. Would you ever rub a cream or an oil on any other organ of your body? Why is it that we do it so routinely with the skin? Why is it that our dermatologists and our skincare professionals recommend that we smear the stuff all over their skin? Probably because our dermatologists and unfortunately a lot of our skincare professionals don't really understand the skin. You've been listening to this program now for the last month or so, or maybe 2 months that we've been talking about skin. You know a heck of a lot more about how to take care of your skin than your dermatologist does. That's not saying much, but we've covered all kinds of stuff here about how to take care of acne and how to take care of moisture, dry skin, how to take care of dark spots. We've covered all kinds of stuff. You can basically get a degree in skincare just from listening to this program for the last couple of months. Go back and check out the archives and then start yourself a skincare business. So last week we spoke about Eucerin. We said it's 100% water, wax, filler, preservative, nothing else. Unless you consider mineral oil to be active, you don't have any active ingredients in your Eucerin. This is scandalous. This is insulting. It's offensive. It's greedy. This corporate strategy of selling us wax and oil and telling us we're moisturized our skin exploits our tendency to confuse the product with our skin. You rub your finger on your skin, you feel product, and we think it's skin. Eucerin is the go-to moisturizing product for medical professionals and dermatologists. And we went over the ingredient deck last week. Check out the archives at brightsideben.com. We broke it down. And there's nothing in it except for wax and oil and water and preservative and a little mineral oil. Chemical peels. We haven't talked about chemical peels. Glycolic acid peels, lactic acid peels. That's a great way to stimulate collagen production, to stimulate moisture factor production, to create new soft tissue, to eliminate dark spots. Chemical peels can be very, very helpful. A lot of folks are intimidated by chemical peels, and it's understandable given the term peels. I like to think of chemical peels as rapid exfoliation. Exfoliation is the shedding of surface cells. It turns everything on. It's like an exercise for the skin. And there's lots of things you could do to make the skin look healthier, to make your skin healthier, not just to look healthier, but to make your skin healthier by applying glycolic acid, acetic acid, lactic acid. These are technically called alpha hydroxy acids on your skin. If you don't want to go to an esthetician, I recommend people go to estheticians once a month or so to have a skin peel, especially as you're getting older. But if you don't want to go, just do your own peel at home. You can do a mild peel with some red wine or vinegar. You can go get some lactic acid or glycolic acid from a pharmacy, get a 10 or 15%, have it neutralized down to a pH of about 3-ish or so, and you can do your own skin peels at home. I still hear unsophisticated dermatologists and even skincare professionals and clients saying they don't like peels. They don't like exfoliation. There's actually, I'll tell you, we'll talk about chemical peels tomorrow. I want to talk about something called hyaluronic acid tomorrow, and then we'll talk about a very important protein that's involved with eczema and psoriasis and dry skin as well. We'll do all that as we continue talking skin health on the... All right, we are back on the bright side. I'm Pharmacist Ben. Tomorrow we'll talk about hyaluronic acids. A lot of folks have heard of hyaluronic acid if they've dabbled even a little bit in the world of skincare. But hyaluronic acid is a little misunderstood when it comes to taking care of their skin. Certainly there's hyaluronic acid. Hyaluronic acid is how you say that in the skin, and it's got a very important role to play in terms of moisturization, but it's not, you can't just put the stuff right on your skin and expect to get the benefits. And I hear a lot of folks telling me or asking me about hyaluronic acid in skincare, and you can't, as important as it is, you can't just smear the stuff on the surface of the skin and expect to get the results. We'll talk about that tomorrow as we continue talking skin health on the bright side. 844-236-6010 is our number. 844-236-6010. Time to hit the phones. Jeanette in Texas. What's going on? Welcome to the bright side. Good morning.
Yes, thank you for your time.
Hey, what's up?
It.
Sure.
I've been a diabetic for quite a while,
Okay.
But the background on me, I've had polio, I've had cancer.
You had polio? Did you say polio?
Polio. I had polio at 2.5 years old.
Wow.
That was in 49. Uh-huh.
Okay.
And I've gone through cancer.
Oh, my goodness. You're a survivor.
And I'm also diabetic.
Look at this. You're a survivor, Jeanette. You made it.
Yeah,
oh, my God. Nothing's getting you down.
I believe it.
How can I ask you, are you in you must be in 70s, I guess? How old? 70?
Not quite 70s. I'm 68.
68, okay. All right, here's the deal.
But,
yeah, go ahead.
Okay.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Okay. What I would like to do is get off the insulin. When I was I'm a nationally certified colon hydrotherapist.
Oh, nice.
And I've also had 25 years of restoration work. I restore photographs.
Oh, nice. Okay.
I was very, very healthy at that time, keeping control of the diabetes. Then they decided to put me on insulin. And all it did for me was to bloat me.
Well, it probably did a lot of other bad things too. Insulin's very pro-aging stuff, and it will make you gain weight.
Yes.
And it's not a pleasant. It's not. You need insulin, obviously. Here's the deal with insulin: when your body loses sense over the course of time, as we eat lots of insulin-spiking foods that cause insulin secretion or stimulate insulin secretion from the pancreas, eventually cells stop listening to insulin. You know, there's a dumbing down or a dampening effect that occurs when something happens over and over and over again. You ever, if you hear loud music or something, eventually it doesn't sound as loud over time because the body kind of turns down the volume on things. And this is one of the ways the body handles stuff. And it happens in terms of chemistry in the body, and it happens in terms of insulin. That's called insulin resistance. All right. Insulin resistance is when cells stop listening to insulin. Under ordinary circumstances, you eat a sweet food, a sugary food. The pancreas, which by the way has its own taste buds, taste bud-like cells. The insulin senses elevations in sugar, and it will secrete insulin into the blood, and then the insulin acts on the cells to cause cells to suck up the sugar, the glucose from the blood. But over the course of time, as this happens over and over and over again, the pancreas is like, forget it. We were just out last hour. We were just out 10 minutes ago. We're not going to bother anymore. And eventually, cells stop listening to insulin. The pancreas doesn't secrete as much insulin. Actually, what happens is the cells stop listening to insulin. The pancreas keeps pumping out insulin, and cells stop listening, and the pancreas pumps out more. Eventually, the insulin doesn't work as well. So what the doctors do, the medical model does, is it sticks more insulin in the body to force the cells to listen to insulin. It's like, you're not going to listen to the body's insulin. Well, we're going to pump you up with even more insulin. Eventually, you're going to start listening. Now, obviously, what ends up happening is the cells stop listening to that insulin that you stuck in your blood, and then you need more, and you keep needing more. This is the stupidity, the utter stupidity of the medical model. And while I have a lot of friends who are doctors, I find it very hard to defend them when they have these kinds of strategies. Cells stop listening to insulin, so what do? You give it more. Cells stop listening to that amount of insulin, so what do? You give it more, and you give it more, and you give it more, forgetting the fact that insulin's pro-aging. It'll make you gain weight. It'll make cells divide really rapidly. It'll increase your risks of cancer. And by the way, if you have a history of cancer, what kind of boneheaded doctor would stick more insulin in the body to somebody who already has a history of cancer? All right, long story short, how do you get off insulin? How do you reduce your intake of insulin? Well, Jeanette, you know the answer to this question. You know the answer, okay? When do you take your insulin? What did you do right before you injected yourself with insulin? When are you supposed to use your insulin?
I take my sugar first.
You have a meal, right? And then you have a meal, okay, that's when you have your insulin. Well, hang on, listen up here. I want you to work with me, okay? So you take your insulin after you have a meal, right? So when are you not taking insulin? When you're not having a meal, right?
That's right.
Okay, so you answered your own question. How do you reduce? You stop eating. That's how you get off insulin.
Did you know that is true?
I know it's true.
I was 93 pounds. And what I would do would be nibbling throughout the day.
Well, you don't
insulin.
Well, because you haven't reached the threshold. But the point is when you reduce your intake of food, you'll be able to reduce your insulin. And when you especially reduce your intake of fast-burning sugars, you'll be able to reduce your insulin. Now, insulin's required for the metabolism of protein as well as sugar. So you're going to have to reduce all your intake of calories and reduce your intake of food. Interestingly, only fat doesn't spike insulin. Carbs will spike insulin, protein a little bit too. So coconut oil, for example, that can be very satisfying, and it's not going to have an effect on your insulin. It might have a little bit, but not a significant effect on your insulin. So use coconut oil in the middle of the day. Apple cider vinegar also can help support insulin. And of course, there's wonderful nutritional supplements that can support insulin. Now, all your meals should end with apple cider vinegar, Jeanette, and everybody really. And by the way, if you begin your meals with apple cider vinegar, you're going to find you're eating less food. Stomach bitters can also, we talked about stomach bitters earlier, that can also help support insulin. So stomach bitters, eating less food, coconut oil, apple cider vinegar, and then don't forget about wonderful nutritional supplements that can be used to strengthen, potentize insulin, make your insulin more potent so you don't need as much. And the sweeties is stupendous for that. Vanadium and chromium are two of the most important nutrients for potentizing insulin. And all the B complex is very important for potentizing insulin, especially thiamine, vitamin B1, and niacin. Now, Jeanette, if you're 68 years old, you're probably going to be deficient in vitamin B12. You might want to get some vitamin B12 shots. That will also help you help support insulin. And then there's great minerals that can strengthen insulin as well. Magnesium, super duper important for strengthening insulin, and so is selenium. MSM sulfur may help, and we talked about vitamin A earlier, how vitamin A and diabetes are connected. Vitamin A can help support insulin. 20,000 IU of vitamin A. Make sure you take it with your digestive enzymes and your stomach bitters to make sure you're absorbing your vitamin A. I also like alpha lipoic acid for helping strengthen insulin. Also, vitamin C can help strengthen insulin. Get on the Healthy Start Pack. Get on the sweeties. Use apple cider vinegar. You might want to throw in some of the Fucoid Z or the Z Radical. That can help. And eat less food, and you'll need less insulin. How's that?
Good.
Good deal,
Wonderful.
Jeanette. God bless you. Good luck with everything. Thanks for your call. Appreciate it. Okay. Let's move on to Harold in California. What's up, Harold? Welcome to the bright side.
Good morning, Ben.
Good morning.
I appreciate you for the last 15 years.
15 years?
Yeah.
Since I was a little kid?
Yeah, no, when you first showed up to help Dr. Wallach.
Oh, good. That was. You know what? That's almost. That's a long time ago. Are you in Northern California? Are you in Santa Cruz, Harold?
Yes, sir. Yes, Monterey or Salinas.
Monterey. Have we met? Have you and I met?
Yes, we have.
Okay, so hang tight. We'll get to you when we come back from our break, Harold. And I'm going to be in Santa Cruz in a couple weeks. Hopefully, we'll get to see you. I'll be in Sacramento and Santa Cruz. And don't go away, Harold. We'll get to you when we come back from our break. I'm Pharmacist Ben. You're listening to The Bright Side on the Genesis Communication Network. We'll be back right after this. Okay, we are back on The Bright Side, talking to Harold in California. Our number is 844-236-6010, and do have a couple lines open for you. Harold, what's going on, my friend? How can we help you?
I have a brother in the Lord that's about 88, and 6 months ago he told me that he didn't have any taste or smell.
Oh, okay.
And I then was shocked to find 6 months later he's still not, and he's deeply into AMA and VA care with other friends, and nobody's fixed Humpty Dumpty. So,
okay, well, he's definitely got some problems here. That's the least of his issues. That's the tip of the iceberg, no taste and smell. Could be a couple things. First of all, zinc deficiency will cause a lack of taste and smell, and zinc deficiency is extremely common, and everybody needs zinc. Zinc's a major building, anti-aging, skin health, immunity, pro-immunity, anti-cancer vitamin. 50 milligrams a day of zinc picolinate. Get them on it right away.
Okay.
Always balance out your zinc with copper. So have him take 2 to 4 milligrams of a copper chelate with his zinc picolinate. And zinc picolinate is the preferred form of zinc, Picolinate, picolinate, as opposed to a cheapo zinc sulfate or zinc gluconate. So zinc picolinate, 50 milligrams a day. And then with his copper. Another thing that impacts taste and smell is inflammation in the respiratory tract and the sinuses. In order for us to taste and to smell, a big part of taste is smell. If you're clogged up in your sinuses, you're not going to be smelling, you're not going to be tasting, and that's a very good possibility that's what's happening. When I say it's the tip of the iceberg, Harold, that means there's other stuff going on in his body, and that's really what you want to focus on. You can't just focus on taste and smell any more than you can focus on the leaves of a tree if the leaves are fungal or rotting with fungus. If the leaves are rotting, you're not going to fix them by spraying something on the leaves. That's done. You got to work on the roots, and you got to work on the trees. Likewise with taste and smell. You can't work on taste and smell directly if there's other stuff going on in the body. If he's 88 years old and he's a standard American, normal person, he's got to have other things going on.